are you finding motherhood harder on your mental health, or like how are you I also have a 4-year-old daughter. What's
So,
your experience when you had a baby on your mental health? Sort of.
that's an interesting one. So I thoroughly enjoyed pregnancy. I will not lie. It was the best time. And I was pregnant through the pandemic.
Mhm.
So the minute the lockdown happened is when I was towards the end of my first trimester. And funnily, actually, those were the best months of my life when I was isolated in a house with nobody, but just me and my husband. And yeah, we had a ton of fun. There was no family, there were no friends, nothing. Sometimes I look back at that and I wonder if, you know, that is ideally the way I should be, not around too many people, having to interact or engage too much. But the minute I delivered the baby, I had a lot of episodes of rage. So I experienced a lot of postpartum rage.
Hmm.
Not directed at her, at the baby, but just at the people around me. So it was hard. Um, Even with the breastfeeding and everything, I was very restless. I was just restless. I also suffered from a lot of body image issues for the first 2 to 3 years of pregnancy, just the weight gain and everything. It
Mhm.
was tough and it really messed with me a lot. I wasn't feeling good about myself. I just remembered also telling my therapist 6 months after giving birth to her that it was very hard for me to piece together who I am again with this new role of a mother.
Yeah.
Because sure, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, you know, uh, also a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And there was this intense fear of me just being tied to the role of being nothing but a mother. There was this constant fear of losing my independence, losing my identity. So I continued working. I think of just 3 weeks into giving birth to her, I told my mother that I'm just bored. I'm feeding the baby. I'm staring up at the ceiling, looking at the fan, at the AC. I'm looking, staring at the walls. Like, is this my life now? You guys didn't warn me about this, that this is what it's really going to be. And there was a lot of guilt associated with that also because I've had friends who are mothers. Um, and I've seen people around me give birth and they're so happy about it. This baby is my entire universe. In fact, I remember 2 days back after this suicidal episode, my mother asked me this question at the hospital that, you know, isn't your child your world? Like, don't you forget everything when you look at her? I didn't even pause much before I said no. And she was appalled. She's like, how can that be? Whenever I looked at you, no matter what I was going through, I just forgot about all of it in a flash and I just got this amazing sense of happiness. So motherhood has been a struggle in that sense where my life doesn't revolve entirely around her. And I have this desire for her to be her own person. I want to be my own person. And it's a challenge to explain it, but I've stopped explaining it to others over a period of time. It took a bit of work with my therapist to accept this myself, that it's okay to feel this way. It's not a crime. Also, like I remember when she was 1 or roughly about 2, it was difficult for me to communicate with her. I remember everybody around me telling me, "You need to talk to her. You need to talk to her. You need to talk to her." And I'm like, "She's not talking yet. If I say something to her, I don't know if she's fully understanding it, what she's making out of it. All the time, she's just crying." So also the crying was very difficult to deal with. She used
Hmm.
to have a lot of temper tantrums. So
That's hard.
that was
Yeah,
very, very
that's hard.
hard. It was difficult. The first 2 years were difficult, but the minute she started talking, I think that changed everything for me. Where I was like, okay, now you're talking, we
Yeah.
can communicate, and that changed everything. And ever since then, it's been way, way, way easier.
Mhm.
for me to, build that relationship with her. It's been quite a journey, but I know 150% that as she grows older, I can be her best friend. That much I know for sure.